Okay, my friends, it is Thursday, so in a week, of course, where we started out with some kind of unusual commentary from DMG, apologizing for Bungie's lack of communication about Destiny 2 specifically, although he didn't mention Destiny 2. We all knew what he was talking about, and as Bungie prepare their multi-IP plan, ? Is there a plan? Well, of course, we know that they do plan on having a lot of Marathon news today. There'll be Sony's State of Play, followed by a dedicated Bungie live stream for Marathon specifically, potentially details about the open playtest and stuff, which is certainly valuable if you're a Marathon fan, but we of course do want to know what's happening with Destiny related things. So we'll see if there's any follow-up on the commentary we had earlier in the week, especially given that we're now 2 full weeks away from the official release date for Shadow and Order, which of course has been rumored to be delayed, but Bungie haven't confirmed it. So maybe we'll get that today, maybe not. If you do find the coverage helpful though, drop us a rating down below as we jump into it. Now though, let's see what's what. First up, indeed, keep your eye on State of Play, Sony's live reveal today. Marathon info is confirmed to feature in that, so that's one component. Otherwise, we'll see what else Sony are putting front and center in their live showcase, and I'll link the details for that down below. Alright, so as we move into this TWID, we should mention, considering it's the elephant in the room, I've skimmed through, and no, Bungie don't have anything major to say. They do add, at the end of the TWID, at least, we're continuing to work hard behind the scenes on many things, and we appreciate your patience and time as we get things cooking. Otherwise, we hope you have a great Valentine's Day. And I, of course, further that sentiment, but naturally loads of commentary about another nothing burger TWID here. Bungie do have another community challenge and some other things we'll mention in just a moment, but as we've said, players are extremely fatigued with this big wait. Of course, today in particular, Bungie have a big Marathon thing going on, some announcements of State of Play in their own live stream and stuff. That's fair enough. But TWIDs have indeed been empty for, like 5 weeks? DMG tweeted on Saturday night with the apology for their lack of communications. But that lack of communication really, in terms of the stuff people actually want to hear about, delays, roadmaps, all of that, continues 4 days later. So, as I've said before, it's fine for Bungie to communicate reasonably when they have something to say. But one of the issues now is that Shadow and Order, as we mentioned, is supposed to drop in a little over 2 weeks. Reports say that it's been delayed, so why hasn't it been announced? This is weird. Again, I don't want to sound entitled, but Bungie have promised us updates for months, and even as their biggest supporters hang in there right now, Destiny veterans who've been around for years, we're waiting for some actual detail, a recognition, even a small update, but Bungie opts to say absolutely nothing. So in the context that we are just over 2 weeks out from when Shadow and Order is supposed to drop, man, I do my best to support Bungie over the years. I've given them the benefit of the doubt many times, but I just can't do that right now, right? Talking to a Destiny audience, I literally can't excuse Bungie in any way. I can't excuse this being the handling of a live game that many of us have invested into a lot. And I would also pose the question, how is this a strategy to build trust or momentum? How is it a strategy to repair player sentiment? And even in a world where perhaps D2 isn't the priority, yeah, we get it. But it feels like they aren't even trying to give Destiny players a reason to trust them. Maybe they also don't even care if you buy into Marathon. How can any of us argue that they give a rat's ass about that if this is the strategy to actually say to players, hey, we're in control and we have a plan? Remember, Bungie are the ones who made the promise for this roadmap. They even outlined improvements to the game, which they wanted to deliver in the Shadow and Order update, but here we are. And again, not getting a roadmap is annoying, but it isn't the end of the world. However, not getting anything from Bungie at all, this close to the release window that they outlined, is absolutely wild. March 3rd is still the official release date for Shadow and Order. Should we just assume that that's when it's coming? You could argue, presumably, their lack of comms actually confirms that delay, yet they just won't say it. It's batshit crazy. What do they actually give us in the TWID this week? Well, firstly, a Praxic Blade time trial starts next week, and Bungie are asking players to complete a full run of the Equilibrium dungeon in 20 minutes or less, while all members of the fire team are wielding the Praxic Blade. All Guardians who succeed and complete this challenge will earn the It Binds and Compels emblem. They don't actually give us a preview of the emblem, but it will start Tuesday, February 17th after reset, and end on Tuesday, March 3rd, before reset. Equilibrium dungeon is featured in normal mode, with no feats required, with a time limit of 20 minutes, and a fire team of 3 players recommended, but they'd love to see duos or solos as well. Plus they add that other weapons can be used while the Praxic Blade is equipped, so on top of the fact that we should not unequip the Praxic Blade during the run, that's pretty much what you need to know. So it's kind of cool right there. They add, kind of like with the Warlords challenge they did, they'll be tracking completions internally, and they'll grant Guardians who successfully complete the time trial with the emblem no later than 30 days after the challenge ends. Plus the community team will feature favourite clips and award movie of the week for some of those as well, so if you want more details about it, it's in the TWID, but I think we pretty much got it covered there. Otherwise, they say they are making adjustments to Bungie name requirements, so as they continue to work to make sure all names to Guardians in D2 are appropriate, we've continued to update and maintain our naming requirements through the game's life, and with the new character requirements that we're introducing starting next week, we've removed some characters that people were using in Bungie names to cause mischief. So, to coincide with the new rules, which may flag some player names as needing to be changed, all players will be getting a free name change voucher to adjust their name as needed, and this voucher will not invalidate previous vouchers. So the rules should take effect, and the name change voucher should be added to your account around the same time on February 17th next week. They don't give specifics on what kind of names will continue to be allowed, but it's an update worth bearing in mind, and give us any thoughts you have about it down below. Separately in the twid, they highlight that we got that free bundle of Crimson Days and Valentine's themed stuff earlier on in the week via the Eververse store. So if you didn't go and grab that, it's on the front page of Eververse. You can't really miss it if you want to go and pick it up. Otherwise, in the twid, there is also some customizable overlays that they've worked on with Get Wrecked for players who may want Destiny 2 related overlays for their stream. So if that applies to you, you can grab those via the twid. And Twitter also brings another new player guide update for enemies and allies. So new week and another new player guide chapter, this time going over the different allies and enemies you'll find during your journey through Destiny 2. As I've said previously, I'm sure most of you don't need a new player guide, but it's there if you want it. Also, Trials of Osiris returns, and Corundum Hammer will be featured this weekend, with Meltdown as the featured map, and they use the same image that they used for the Praxic Dungeon Challenge for Trials right here, which is interesting. There is additionally an update to the known issues list in Twitter as well, so if there's anything particularly troubling that you've experienced recently, you can always dig through that, but for the moment, that's what we have to talk about. So that is this week's twid. Our very final mention, if you want to see new information about Marathon in particular, State of Play is happening later on. That's Sony's live stream in a couple of hours. So tune into that if you want some new Marathon reveals. And Bungie will additionally have their own live stream, which I don't think they've tweeted out on social media just yet, but it's certainly going to be a thing according to Bungie in the hour that follows PlayStation State of Play. So that will be over on Bungie's Twitch, and I will link it down below. Otherwise, I'm sorry, man. I know I shouldn't be sorry, it's not my fault, it's Bungie's deal, but as the Destiny 2 news guy, it's hyper frustrating that I can't give you more info, more to look forward to in relation to Destiny 2. And it does blow my mind that if Bungie, for instance, confirmed that Shadow and Order is delayed next week on Thursday, that is only just a week and a half before when it's supposed to drop. And for folks who feel that, Bungie just don't care or whatever, I can't blame you. I can't criticize that opinion because I can't defend the way that Bungie are currently communicating and handling D2. Clearly, there is a community team trying to come up with stuff in this downtime. That's why we keep getting these kind of weekly challenges and things that they're posting in the twids. So I appreciate their efforts, obviously, and as Bungie said at the start, something is going on in the background, but clearly Bungie don't want to talk about it right now, close to all of this Marathon info coming out. Surely, however, we can't get to March 3rd, and Shadow and Order just never arrive without Bungie saying something, right? Let me know your thoughts below. For today, that's it. I appreciate you tuning in, as always, but for now, I will catch you all very soon.